Hello everyone, welcome to our new series of CSS World. In this series, we are going to study the subject Criminology. Under this series of lecture, we will cover the topics of criminology one by one. In this very first lecture, we will cover the introduction of criminology, under which we will study basic concepts used in understanding crime, criminology, and criminal behavior. Let's start this lecture now. First of all, what is a crime? In simple words, we can define crime as any act violating the basic values and or beliefs of any particular society. These values could be in the form of proper law in that particular society. So all those acts and deeds of any individual or a group of people which are against the norms, values and laws of any society come under the category of crime. So we can further elaborate the definition of crime by saying that crime is basically any unlawful act, which means any act which doesn't follow the law is a crime. Keep in mind that crime is always punishable by the state, because as we have said that crime is basically an unlawful act. So when there is violation of any law, then there is also a punishment for that. So crime is always punishable. This is because of the fact that crime is basically transgression of rules made by society or communities. These rules and the punishment on their violation is usually determined by the criminal code of a country. So, any act which is against the norms, values and laws of a society or a country and is punishable by that society or a country is called a crime. As crime and law, both terms are being used again and again here, so it would be better to give touch to understand two basic types of law here. Keep in mind that there are two types of law. One is natural law and other one is man-made law. Natural laws are same across the world. These laws are according to the nature of the human being. For example, harming someone is considered as a bad thing worldwide. So this act is a crime as this is naturally not acceptable. In this way, the natural law prevents people from harming each other. Keep in mind that natural laws are almost same everywhere across the globe. These are all those laws which have been given by nature. They are not made by any person, but they are natural laws. They are given by the nature. Second type is man-made laws. Man-made laws are those laws which are formulated by the legislative body of any country. These legislative bodies vary from country to country. In Pakistan, the legislative body is Parliament. The elected members who go to Parliament through the votes of masses are those who basically make laws for country. So all the laws formulated by these legislative bodies are basically man-made laws. These laws are also known as positive laws. Unlike natural laws, these laws vary from country to country. They are not same everywhere. Therefore, it may happen that an act which is considered as a normal act in one country may be considered as crime in other. For example, there are few countries which are allowing the same-sex marriages. So in those countries, the act of such marriage is a normal act, but the same act in other countries where there is no permission of same-sex marriages will become a crime. If two persons of a same sex living in Netherlands marry each other, then it will not a crime because Netherlands allows such marriages. On the other hand, if two persons of same sex do marriage in Pakistan, then it will be a crime because Pakistani law doesn't allow such marriages. So the thing to understand here is that crime will be a crime in natural law everywhere, but if it is related to man-made laws, then the circumstances would be different. Crime in one society may be a normal thing in other society. Definition of crime. Keep in mind that there is no proper definition of crime because it is socially constructed phenomena which also varies from place to place, time to time, situation to situation, and so on. So we can just say that crime is what society says it is a crime, which means if a particular society says that this act is a crime, then this act would definitely be a crime. Although there is no proper definition of crime, but still there are some social scientists who have tried to define the crime. For example, James Stephen defines crime as an act forbidden by law and revolting to moral sentiments of a society. Similarly, William Blackstone defines crime as an act committed or omitted in violation of public law. So these are the few efforts to define the crime. Now we will move towards our next concept, which is criminality. The word criminality means the state of being criminal. It refers to a certain kind of personality profile that is inclined to commit crime. Criminality is basically the essence of the act upon which the act is referred as a crime. We can further elaborate the concept by considering two criteria to make the point that either the act is a crime or not. First point is the act is danger and really harmful for society. If the act is danger and is really harmful for society, and the second one is that if the act is designated in penal code or not. So at the first point, it is usually witnessed in first sight that the act is harmful for society or not. Once it is decided that the act is harmful, then the act is witnessed through second point, in which it is seen that the act is designated in penal code or not. Once it is confirmed that the act has the designation in penal code, then the act finally labeled as a crime. Keep in mind, if any act has no designation in penal code, then the act cannot be labeled as a crime. So these are the 2 points through which the act is analyzed to prove its criminality. Again, there is the fact that which thing is criminal and which thing is not criminal varies from society to society, time to time, and country to country. We can take the same example of same-sex marriage here again. It is a crime in Pakistan, whereas not in Netherlands. In case of time to time variation in criminality, we can take an example of a murder. Murder of one person by another person is a crime. But the murder of a soldier of one army by the soldier of another army is not a crime. So it basically depends upon time, situation, country, etc. So this was all about criminality. Now we will move towards our next concept, which is criminal behavior. Criminal behavior is all about the facts that why a man commits crime. Keep in mind that there is always a proper behavior behind every crime. So this criminal behavior is often studied to find out the root cause of crime to minimize the criminal activities. Usually the thoughts, intentions, and reactions of criminals are studied. Usually there are 3 main models of studying the criminal behavior. They include psychological model, in which the psyche of criminal is studied, that how his mental health, etc., and how he is behaving towards the other person, is he is mentally okay or not. Second one is sociological model, in which the social perspective of the criminal is studied, that what has been the social existence of that particular person, means what were the social circumstances were being faced by him when he committed a crime. Third one is biological model, in which usually the criminal is examined medically to find that if there is any medical issue due to which the criminal has committed the crime. So these are three models through which the behavior of the criminal is studied. And the purpose of studying this is to reach at the point that what was the actual reason behind the crime. These studies basically help in controlling acts of crimes. So these were three basic concepts in criminology which have been covered in this very first lecture of this series. This was all from today's lecture. The lectures on criminology will be continued in coming videos. Thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon for more videos. Goodbye.